Hello everyone! Welcome back to another Tough Love Tuesday. I'm coming to you again from outside. I've been working on the deck all morning, just so grounded on my yoga mat. It feels so good. We're having some heat finally, and I'm just gonna soak in every minute that I can because before I know it, winter's gonna be here again. So first things first, thank you so much to everyone who dropped a comment in last week's video when I asked for your feedback about suggestions for these videos. So grateful. Thank you to each and every one of you who threw in some really amazing topics and comments for some of the things that you want to hear me talk on. So I'm really excited. I have a list going. I've written them all down, and I'm going to be building those in, obviously bringing you what you want. So if you missed that last week, feel free to drop a comment below this video. Of course, I would love to hear any topics that you want me to talk about. Okay. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to support you. So if there's something on the top of your mind that you're like, I want to hear Danny's thoughts on this, I'm sure I can bring it into a Tough Love Tuesday. So let me know in the comments below. And I'm so excited for today's topic because I had an experience last week. For a lot of you know, if you've been following me at all, you know that last week I went and did a photo shoot. I actually did a combination, some new photos for my website. So stay tuned. Those are going to be beautiful. And I also did a boudoir photo shoot. So it was my first time ever. And it was a big step outside my comfort zone. And it was really a beautiful act of self-love and learning to, for me, a practice to honor my body, even though I'm not 100% happy. I mean, we all have the pieces that we, pick out about our body that we don't love. So, it was a real practice for me for that. And it was such an incredible experience. And what I want to talk about today on Tough Love Tuesday is this thing that's happening in all of our lives where we may be setting healthy boundaries, which is fantastic. And a lot of you right now, the tough love you may need to hear is that you don't have healthy boundaries and you need to get on creating those ASAP and really start creating those in your life. They're so mandatory and so important for your health and happiness in all areas. Healthy boundaries with your relationships, with food, with yourself and your self-talk, all the things. So start somewhere and get going, but that's not what today's video is about. That's another tough love for another day, but there's a little snippet for you. Get on creating those boundaries. But once we create those boundaries, the big piece that's missing for a lot of people is actually following through with them. So that's what today's tough love is about, because I did this last week. I tough loved myself because I did not stand in my boundary last week. And I'm going to share the story with you because it was such a beautiful learning experience. And I want to obviously share that with all of you so you can learn and you can take this away as well, to start making these, powerful shifts in how you show up for yourself, in your life every day. So, it's different, right? Setting a boundary and then actually following through and communicating that boundary and standing in that boundary. It's one thing to say, well, I'm only going to spend, 2 hours scrolling on Instagram every day, right? But then you just don't set an alarm. You don't stick to that boundary, right? You let yourself scroll for 4 hours today, right? Or I'm going to shut off, my new boundary is I'm going to shut off technology at 7 o'clock every night, right? I'm not going to have my screens on. I'm going to help myself get ready for bed and then you don't follow through with that, right? So there's two pieces here to boundaries, and this is a piece that we often don't talk about. So what came up for me last week, really interestingly, is boundary around time. So I had made some assumptions and not communicated my boundary. And see, I'm not perfect. I'm absolutely not perfect. And I loved getting reminded of this because it won't happen again, right? I got to learn, wait a second, Danny, there's still some things here that you didn't do that kind of set up for a mayhem of a day. So the Coles notes of what happened is that with my photographer, I'd paid for and booked 1 hour of website photographs and an hour and a half for boudoir. So in my mind, I thought, okay, it's probably going to be about 3.5 hours, with hair and makeup in between and all the chitter chatter and fun stuff. And what ended up happening was I was there for 6 hours. So by the time both of us were winding up and I looked at the clock, it was almost 6 o'clock at night, and I was expecting to be home around 4. And that really derailed me. And it was a really interesting reminder for me because number one, and I always, personal responsibility, take full responsibility for that happening and my whole evening kind of being derailed. And I was exhausted. I didn't plan for that. I didn't bring food with me because I didn't think it was going to be that long. And I was just going to go home and eat a late lunch. And I did not, this is the way I created this for me, right? This is me in action, sharing with you how I'm taking personal responsibility for for the situations that happen in our life is so, so important. So I realized in hindsight, number one, I put an expectation on my photographer that she was going to hold her boundary around time and what I had paid for, right? And I'm being very respectful of people's time. I always never wanting to take more of people's time, and being respectful of that. And she didn't hold her boundary. So I expected her to hold her boundary because I'm usually so good at holding mine. So I was like, okay, everybody holds their boundaries and she'll keep us on time and she'll keep an eye on the clock and let me know when we're wrapping up and things like that. She's the professional here, right? I paid her for that. And I didn't communicate that with her at all. So that was me. That was on me making an expectation about somebody else that I didn't even communicate. Danny, right? And it happens to all of us. And the second piece is I didn't communicate my boundary. I didn't say a word about, okay, so what time will we be done? I need to be done around 4 because I want to go home and have a late lunch and relax for the rest of the evening or whatever else I had going on. I mean, thank goodness I didn't have anything planned that evening. You know, if I'd had a client call or something, I would have set an alarm, but I didn't have anything planned, so I just kind of flowed with it. But I was kind of planning to go home, have a relaxing evening with Ben, make a nice dinner, and I didn't get home till 7. And I just had a quick something healthy to eat. And then it was like time to start winding down. So I didn't communicate that. You know, I could have very well, and I should have, right, in the future, communicated. You know, I need to be home by 4. What time are we going to be wrapping up? Just so I can know what to expect, right? So it's this conversation around expectations and boundaries. And it was so eye-opening for me. And this is why I really wanted to talk about this with all of you today, because I guarantee there are places in your life right now where you are not holding your boundary. You are not communicating your boundary with the people that need to know it. You are not standing in that for yourself. So whether that's a boundary around, well, I'm not going to snack after 7 o'clock, right? No more eating after 7. Or a boundary around, we're going to eat all of our meals at the dinner table. Or I'm no longer going to eat in my car, right? Or when somebody asks me for help, I'm going to delay it and sit with it first and then give them an answer, right? And check if it works for me. So I'm going to tell them I'll get back to you in 5 minutes, right? Or I'm going to spend, less than an hour on Instagram a day, or all these boundaries. I mean, there's so many beautiful boundaries we can set in our lives, and they're useless if we don't follow through on them. And my boundary around time and being respectful of time was very much stepped on, and it didn't feel good. But at the same time, I know that was all on me. And this is a personal responsibility piece that I want to inspire all of you, learning through my experiences. This is how we can do that, right? Is really reflecting on those instances. And it was the day after I started really reflecting, what happened? How did we run out of time? How did it end up being 6 o'clock without me noticing? And there were all these pieces that I didn't do that led to that. So absolutely not on my photographer's, it's not her fault. It's not her problem. That was all on me. And it was and I'm so grateful. I know I needed to learn that lesson. I know that I needed to share that with all of you so that you can start actually holding your boundaries and understanding the difference between where you're just creating a healthy boundary and where you're actually following through on it, because they're very, very different things. And creating them sounds all nice and you can write them all down, but if you're not actually standing in them and following through with your boundaries, they're useless. It's a waste of your time, waste of your energy, waste of your time. So that's your homework right here, right now. And I'd love to hear in the comments below, what boundary are you needing to stand in? What boundaries are you not either communicating or, sorry, I'm going to move this around, communicating or, honoring in yourself? What boundaries need to be shifted? So let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear and keep this conversation going. Obviously, this is a big one, and hopefully you're inspired and you're learning from my lessons. Win-win, right? Last thing, actually, I need some help. I need some help from all of you, okay? I know that you're loving these Tough Love Tuesday videos, and I'm so grateful. And as you know, I am always working on things behind the scenes. So for those of you who are new to me, maybe you don't know that yet, but a lot of you know that I am doing lots behind the scenes and really, in honor of serving you and supporting you on this incredible journey to build a healthy relationship with food. And one of the things that I've been hearing a lot lately from many women just like you is really, asking me about how to kick emotional eating, how to really kick that habit and begin making healthier choices and having a different pattern or habit when stress comes up or when emotions come up throughout the day, which is part of being human, by the way. So this emotional eating piece, and I've seen so many of these women, and maybe you're doing this right now, make so many mistakes when it comes to really looking at emotional eating and mistake number one being just looking for a healthier food. Right? Looking for a healthier food item to just replace it with. Instead of chips, you're having carrots. You're still eating. You're still emotional eating, even if it's carrots. Or just turning to other things to distract, right? So instead of food, okay, I'm going to distract myself with a podcast and Netflix and all these other things, these distractions. And these are really common mistakes I see. And this is not the way to really create a lasting, healthy relationship with food, where you're not turning to food every time, an emotion comes up, or you need, these old patterns that have been indoctrinated in us. So what I'm thinking of doing, and this is where I need your help, I'm thinking of putting together a really powerful video workshop series that I would offer for free to all of you around this topic, and to really help women like you get the clarity around really the deep underlying pieces that need to be shifted in order to shift out of this emotional eating pattern and roller coaster. So I would love to create this video training for you, but I need to know if there's interest first. So if this is something that you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments below. Just drop like a heck yes, or I want that training, Danny. Let me know in the comments below. And if there's enough interest, I'm going to create that, and I'm going to obviously post it here in our group. For everyone who's on my email list, I'll send it out to you as well. Make sure that you get it. But I really want to hear if this is something that you actually need. I feel like it is. I feel like I've been having so many conversations about this, and every single one of my clients, we talk about emotional eating and really learning how to feel again, and the deeper layers behind it, because it's not just the pattern. It's not just the food that we're reaching for. It's there's a deeper level of shift that needs to take place in all of us in order to create that lasting change. So you're no longer, every time stress comes up, or you're bored, or you're feeling sad or depressed, you're not turning to food, and you're not distracting, and you're actually allowing yourself to feel in those emotions. So let me know. Let me know in the comments below. I really, really would love your feedback and help with this. If it's something that you'd be interested in, I'm super happy to do that for you. So can't wait to do that. Can't wait to hear all your thoughts and comments below. And I'm so, so grateful for all of you. Thanks again for tuning into another Tough Love Tuesday. And I look forward to seeing you again, same time, same place next week. Bye, everyone.